Hey guys, my name is heyyy, and today I want to show you a plugin I've been working on for quite some time now. I've brought Age of Empires to Minecraft with the name of, Age of Minepires. Essentially, you will be able to do mostly all the things you can do in Age of Empires, just in Minecraft. And today I want to show you a bit, mostly all the features you can do for now. And I guess a gameplay video with with some of my friends will eventually follow, depending on how you guys like this video. First of all, I have a clean spigot server set up. Just with, I started it one time with WorldGuard protocol lib. The plugin itself only needs protocol lib, WorldGuard, and WorldEdit are just there for cosmetic reasons. Let's start this up. Will take a second. Yeah, the game creates its two worlds. The game world where the game will be held in, or the games, and the editor world for the editor mode. Also, you will get a plugin file here. Yeah, let's do that first. So you get a config YML. You want to configure some stuff in there, and the game data YML. You must not modify this file, otherwise stuff might break. And the civilizations folder, and something called a AOM file converter. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the civilizations folder. In here you have all selectable civilizations listed. Each civilization has to have exactly files named like this. So all the available buildings are like buildable or actually there for the so the plugin knows how the buildings look like. The files themselves look rather stupid to set up. That's why we have the file converter. So you basically just open a command prompt here in the subfolder. Then you just execute Java line jar. You tap complete, and then you might want to give the file a schematic file from WorldEdit with your building you want to do, get over into Age of Minepires. And well, for the sake of reasons, we'll just take the config YML here. And it just told me it's the wrong format. It couldn't convert it. If it is successfully converted, you might end up with something like, let's go with the config example. You will end up with this, just with the ending w.dat. And it's basically the schematic file converted over into something like this. So you don't have to do the translation from the schematic file or whatsoever. The program will do it for you. And to add a new civilization, simply build all these buildings. We'll tell you later what these are. And you just convert them over, add a new folder here, and the plugin, let's just call it Egypt, will try to read through all these files. If there is another folder, it will expect this to be a valid civilization, and it will read through all the files. If something is broken with the files, or it cannot find the file, it will not load the civilization, and it will tell you so in the console. Okay, let's get rid of that folder again. So that's the civilizations folder and how you basically add new civilizations. So then we take a quick look at the config YML. It will tell you when the YML was created, at which version. Currently, I've been developing all this for quite some time already. And then we got the max block set per tick. In the background there will be a block task running, so the server does not lag too much from it, from like pasting the game world and whatsoever. So you can set this to a really small amount, so the server, like the server does not crash or people getting timed out or whatsoever. So the server can handle the load a bit better at the beginning of the game. You got the default world size. Note that this is actually in segments, so it will be like 20 just divided by 2 will be the actual chunk size in the end. So a default game will have 10 chunks, X and Y, X and Z. Yeah. The debug is just for debugging purposes. You may want to set this to true in case something weird happens or something does not work. Well, as intended. It will help me if you provide debug messages in case you experience an issue. Is vision square? I will talk about this option later. It basically set this to true and it will run a lot faster. Set this to false if you want, like if you're sure your server can handle a higher amount of workload, and it will look a bit nicer. And lobby location, well, you can specify this in-game via a command. We will go through all the available commands and their purposes later. But basically you can edit it in-game or here in the config YML, your choice. Okay, that's basically everything in the plugin folder. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. So we are just in my derp world where I initially built all the stuff. Okay, well, let's have a quick look at the commands for now. First of all, debugging related, in case you're a bit more familiar with Java and whatsoever. This might actually help you in case you're another developer. So, in case there are any exceptions occurring within the game routine or something doesn't work as intended, you can list all the exceptions that came up. You can also like go through the pages, but yeah, there is no exception so far. Yes. So nothing is shown there. In case you see some exception in the list and you want to show it exactly, you can just go and show it with the ID. Every exception has a little ID in the end, so you can select it specifically. And it will also print the error message again in the console. And you can go and print yourself the timings. This is a bit more useful for server owners or whatsoever. Here you can see the exact timings for all the subsegments of the game, so you can see what's currently lagging out or whatsoever, in case you experience issues. These time units are nanoseconds, so this means one nanosecond is like 0. Like this would be 1 millisecond. And then we just add a bit more zeros, and this is like 1 nanosecond. So you can guess like how, but well, the game is an idle and there is no game running, so this is obviously not using up too much. So this was it for the debugging commands, and we go for the setup commands. Yeah, AOM setup set lobby. You can set the lobby spawn point with that. I'm just gonna set it in here because reasons, and it looks nice. So just go set lobby, and we updated the lobby location. This will also set the coordinates in the config YML, so you can check it up at any point if you want to. So then at the next thing, we're gonna take a look at the editor mode. So yeah, maybe I want to do all the commands first. So basically, AOM setup editor will get you into the editor mode. The whole game, like all the segments on it, will be in 8 by 8 size. Guess I can show it to you guys later. when we are actually using the editor mode or the in-game mode. And yeah, please try to keep that down below 60 because of, yeah, I guess you don't want a game to be 30 by 30 chunks big, because that uses up a lot of server power, and you might not want to crash your server with this. I actually kept it at some point. I guess you can't add a higher number than 60. I'm pretty sure. Next, when you're in editor mode and you're happy with the world you've built, you can also save it. And then you enter a name and it will save it into a subfolder that will be generated below the plugin folder. And all the templates will be stored there. So you can create a game based on those templates you've saved and created previously in the editor mode. AOM setup list. Well, we can just execute it. There are no saved templates because it's kind of fresh installation. So there's nothing there yet. And AOM setup load will just load a template you've saved back into the game so you can actually start a game with it. So next off we got the AOM command. That's basically the command users will use. Like, if you want to play the game, you will actually use this command. So first of all, AOM create, that's basically the command you want to use to create the game. And you can set up a bit of different things here. First of all, if you want to create a game, you will need a player mode. Well, the available player modes are 4-player, 3-player, or 2-player. And one debug mode. Well, just because of I don't have a test server or a second player, a friend. I have no friends to play with. So I've added just a mode for myself to get into the actual game without having 2 players. And available game types. You have to specify one of them. Well, I added descriptions, so it's pretty obvious. You just read through it. And again, a debug game type, so I don't get kicked out of the game again because I'm like the last remaining player and the only player in there. So I added a debug game type, so I don't get kicked out all the time again, and can actually test stuff alone. I will remove those debug things if I actually gonna release the plugin. And you can specify a seed, or you can't or if you want to leave that out, so it takes a random seed. Or you can specify your template name here, which we're like, can just debug, and let's say we've created a template named test. Yeah, it just tells me the template does not exist. Okay, after you created a game, you can join the game. Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, how are we gonna do that? Well, I'm gonna go. Like, you can. I will explain the join command later when we are actually creating a game. And yeah, surrender and leave are pretty obvious. You want to use surrender when you're actually in game and don't want to play anymore, or your friend is just stupid and doesn't want to end the game or whatsoever. So you can surrender out of the game. There is no running game at the moment, so well, I can hardly surrender. And you can also leave, like there will be, if you join, there will be a lobby, and leave is especially a command for leaving a lobby, the game lobby. But well, I am not currently in the lobby, so kind of awkward to show that now. So, but first of all, we want to test the editor and create ourselves a template we want to use. So I'm just gonna go and create a rather small template here, rather small sized editor. So this is the editor mode. Notice the 4 colored squares on the ground. These are the player's spawn points, meaning that the player will get his first building, the capital of his office city or whatever you want to call it there, and he will start off from there by default. And that goes for player 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also see it down here in your hotbar. And so now we're gonna take a closer look on how this world is actually built. You might notice these squares are exactly 8 by 8 large, and the whole map is divided into these 8 by 8 segments, and you can change them to different types by selecting, like, by changing your active item to the axe down here. And you can set them to a few different types. Most of them, well, if you have played Age of Empires, this is really common knowledge for you. But I'm just gonna read it out for all the others out there. So a forest is a resource of wood, so you can build your forester near it and, well, get wood. Gold is where you want to place your mines on and actually get gold from them. Plains is, well, what's all around here. And cliffs is a segment where you can't build stuff on. It is just like a natural wall. So these are the 4 segments here. So you can set buildings for a player. That way, again, you select your active item, which is currently the blaze rod, to whatever player you want to specify or you want to build buildings for. So let's just go ahead and select player 1. So here are all the civilizations that you would, like, if you go ahead and create a new civilization here, for now it's only Britain, it will be listed here if the civilization can be loaded successfully. So for now we're gonna select Britain, and notice we're gonna have another option down here, and the select player is highlighted. So let's just change our active item again from blaze rod to these wood planks, and we'll get the building editor. Here we can build all the well, buildings you would expect to be in a Age of Empires game. So we have the capital, like one is built by default that will be placed on the player's spawn point. Wrong one. You can build houses, mines, farms, forester, barracks, and stable. A watchtower, a market to sell wood and food or buy wood and food from. It also has its own little economy. A church, library, these are mostly for upgrades. Well, in the church you're gonna have well, I'm gonna go with the troops later. A fortress which can like train the most common troops. And a world wonder. This is only normally available in the Imperial game type, where you have to build a world wonder, and yeah, if you successfully build it, you and your team will win the game. It doesn't look that pretty at the moment, and it kinda bugs out because it's a bit too big. Well, if you add your own civilizations, think about it not to build it too big, because it might look awkward. Yeah. Well, you can't just like pre-build houses, so they will be placed when the game starts. So let's just build a few things here. Build a church. So I'm gonna just build all the different buildings. You guys can have a look at them. Yeah, notice that I can't place the mine down here because it's like not a gold segment, so we can just change it over and place the mine onto it. Same goes for the forester. You will have to place down a bit of wood. And yeah, you cannot, like, there are safety restrictions also everywhere, so you can't derp around here. I've put much time into little details. So yeah, we got the farm, we got the resource production, got some military things, library. What else do we need? Yeah, walls are always centered on the segments, and note that they will not connect now in the editor mode, but we will have a look at them later in game, and they will connect to each other and also to natural borders, I would say, like forests and cliffs. They will connect to them. So, and one other thing, you can also, if you have a player selected, you can also in the segment menu change the player's spawn point to, well, another location, wherever you want to. Yeah, and that's how the capital looks, but we're gonna have a look at it in game. There's also a destroy mode, so if you, well, made a mistake or want to remove stuff again, you can do so by simply going into destroy mode here and right click the buildings away again. So yeah, I guess that's it for the editor mode. I don't want to waste too much time building stuff here now. So yeah, if you're happy with whatever you've built, then you can just go and save it. We're just gonna name it test, just because test. So yeah, it tells us we successfully saved the template test, and we're gonna leave the editor mode again. So notice if we now do AOM setup list, it will tell us there is a template called test. It exists in a file, but it's not loaded yet. So you can see it in the plugins folder here in saved templates that the test template is created and, well, it's there. So we're just gonna go ahead and load it. Yeah, it loaded the template. Now we can start a game with it. So we can go back to the command we had before, just to display it again. So we're gonna go with the player mode debug, because I'm alone. And the game type, well, debug as well. And we're gonna want the gameplay template test. So then we get like the difficulty selection where we can set up various stuff for the game later on. So the starting resources, what every player starts with, we're just gonna go 2000 of each. The gold resource settings for the gold segments, so the amount of gold in the resources. So the resource regeneration and the initial amount. We're just gonna go really easy mode here. And the game speed itself, this affects research time, troop movement speed, and something else. I don't remember. Oh yeah, troop train speed. So we're just gonna go double speed here. And yeah, then we're gonna confirm. And it just tells us like the session got created. Now it creates the game world. It's prepared the game area and it has successfully set up everything. So then we can join. We get this little menu here. We see like, okay, there's an open game. Game type is, well, debug. Player settings debug, and there is no other player in there yet. So we're gonna join. We'll get into the lobby. Tells us, well, there's only one out of total one players in here. Again, the player settings and the and the game type. So if you right click with the dashboard item, you will get into the dashboard here. Normally, if you play with two players, the second player is listed here with the same options. The third player here and the fourth player here. But since we're alone, well, we are alone here. And also the player's skull is here with this skin. You can select your player's color. Your troops will have wool blocks on their head and whatsoever, so you can identify them. We're just gonna go red here. You have to select your civilization. Well, there's only one yet. Then you can just click through the team. You can go with, like, if you play with 2 or 3 people, well, only 3 people, you can go into like 2 versus 1, or well, everyone against everyone. Or if you're 4 people, you can go 2 versus 2, or 3 versus 1, or 2 versus 1 versus 1, like however you want to select your team. And if you're happy with your settings, you can just go and mark yourself. Oh, wait, we don't want to do that. You can just mark yourself ready, and if everyone's ready, you will be automatically starting the countdown, and the game will start. So now we are in game. Well, first one I want to mention is that the walls connected here. They did not in the editor mode, and well, connected over now. And well, now that we are in game, we got a couple of new stuff. And first of all, we got our resource overview to the right. So you get your resource, you see your resource production slowly producing food and gold and wood, because we, well, built the farm before, and the foresters and the gold mine. Another thing, if you hover over the buildings, you will just see the building's health and if it is attacked or not at the moment. Well, there is no other player, so obviously they're not attacked at the moment. If you hover over natural resources, such as a forest or a gold ore, you will be displayed how much resources there are left in there, and the maximum amount. Yeah, if you left click somewhere with your blaze rod, you will open up the build menu. Here you can see, like, again, the destroy buildings option. Note that if you just started a game, you can also destroy your capital and instantly lose. So I would not suggest doing that at the start of the game. But then we have like different sections or categories of buildings. Got the economy buildings, well, the basic resource production and population stuff, and the market. Got the research buildings, military buildings, and defensive. Note that we did not start a Imperial game, so you cannot build the World Wonder here. The World Wonder would be available next to the capital here. Yeah, left clicking in the world is without anything, is just opening build menu. Right clicking on buildings, if they have a interact menu, a farm or a forester or a mine does not have something to interact with, so you don't get a inventory there. But for example, if you right click onto the capital, you get your capital menu. So this is basically an interact menu where you can build troops, where you can schedule upgrades. Also in the capital, you can continue to the next age. You can only do this in the capital. The upgrades are sorted by ages. The troops are always in the top level. And whenever you can build troops, there is also a set troop flag. That's basically the point where the troops will run to after they spawned. So by default, it's somewhere near the building itself. You can just set it somewhere. The troops will spawn and run to that point. So let's test this with a few builders. You can stack up those builders to a maximum amount of 5. Then you will create a new stack of builders. Just like in, well, Age of Empires. Let's do the next stage too. So the builders are finishing, and well, they're pretty quick because we selected like double game speed, so they are pretty fast. So if you have troops or, well, builders or whatever kind of troops in your world, you can either way select them with just right clicking for a short time in the world. Yeah, I progressed to the next stage. Yes. Or you can hold right click and drag a square and select everything that's within that square. Once you have troops selected, they get highlighted with some firework particles, and you get a item in your hotbar that shows all the available types you've selected. Of course, they're only builders for the moment. And, well, all their health, and their health again is a kind of bar there. If you selected them, you can deselect them with left click, and you can command them to move somewhere with right click. That's also the next thing. You have only restricted vision of the world. So, well, commanding troops somewhere or building buildings will extend your vision, and losing troops, or the building gets destroyed, or simply moving your troops elsewhere, you will lose that vision again. But it will leave behind something like this. Well, it's not that spectacular since there are planes everywhere, and this will always look the same. These are like what you might know from Age of Empires. These are like things where you had previously vision on, but not anymore. So these will look always the same, except if you get there again, the chunks will get updated again, and you will receive like the latest information again. If you discover, let's say, a enemy building in here, you will still see it, like it will all be replaced by coal blocks. But let's say another player comes to this and destroys the building, you will not notice it. Simply because the last information you had was like, oh, there is an enemy building, and you did not notice that it got destroyed. So that's the thing about vision and stuff. Can also like command our builders further, and yeah, everything where you had previously vision on will get somewhat blacked out. Okay, so now we progress to the next age. We got some more options here. So we can increase the production speed of farms, we can increase the production speed of lumber huts, reduce research time, increases vision radius, reduce cost for builders, increases the vision radius for scouts, so these guys, by 50%. What else is there? We got the church, I mentioned it previously. So you got the medic here, slowly heals friendly troops around itself. Got the priest that can't attack but slowly converts targeted enemy troops to your team, which means this is like you can just go to an enemy troop and slowly convert it over so it might become one of your troops. Reduce resource drain from forests. So these foresters will, well, not because we set it very easy, but these might actually consume this forest and it will despawn, so it gets like normal plains in case these foresters completely used up all the resources in there. Same goes with the mine and the gold ore. So that's that. Then we got the library. Well, that's like similar to the church, but without troops. So you can increase production of mines here. Note that there are upgrades which have dependencies on existing upgrades. So to get all the upgrades, you will to get to see all the upgrades even, you will have to research stuff already. Well, then we got the market. So you can buy and sell in 100 units. You can buy food, sell food, buy wood, and sell wood. Note that if I actually buy wood, the price goes up. And if I actually sell wood, the price goes down. So there's some kind of economy behind this. Then we got the fortress. Well, there are no upgrades available yet, because normally you could only get the fortress in H3. So there are obviously only upgrades for H3 and beyond. So there we got the three, the three default troop types. So the infantry, that's strong against archers, archers are strong against cavalry, cavalry is strong against infantry, and so forth. So you want to have like some sort of balance in your troops, and not just pure infantry or pure archers. Well, let's just make... You can also shift click to instantly build 5 of them. Let's just make a few of them and set the spawn point somewhere. Okay, we will wait until they are done. The next thing, if you place down a building, you can, like, first of all, you will get this nice little animation going, and you can actually hover around and select the building where you want to have it. Note that you cannot build inside of chunks where you have no vision. Even if you had vision before, you can only build in chunks that you completely see. So let's just place it down there. It will place down a small grid, and you will need builders. You can right click it, and as you can see, it will slowly, the builders will slowly build the house. And boom. Once it's finished, it will also provide its full vision range. And yeah, also then it will provide its population. So there we go, we got ourselves a bit of cavalry. Well, Minecraft horses are weird. They're just stacked up into inside of each other. I might actually have to fix this at some point. But well, you can just build troops and send them around. So I guess that's basically it. I mean, attacking goes something like how you make builders build a building, so you can just right click it and there you go. So yeah, since I cannot leave this game because it's debug mode and it will never end, I'm just gonna go ahead and surrender myself out of there. And yeah, well, let's just show something else to end it with. Let's just say I'm gonna create a 4-player game. Imperial, and I don't want to specify a specific seed, that's fine. So we're just gonna go ahead and, oh yeah. So well, there's an actual game now here. And yeah, it just says waiting for another player. Just go ahead and select something, and yeah, we're gonna wait a really, really long time here. So that's it, I guess. Guess I've shown everything. Game editor mode. So yeah, I don't know when I want to release this. I don't know if I'm actually gonna finish it, because I've got like another plan, some plans for doing a campaign mode or adding computer controlled enemies, so you can actually play on your own against, let's say, 3 computer controlled players. But for now, this is as far as it goes, and I hope, well, what I'm gonna hope, I'm not sure. I hope I actually release this at some point. Depends on your feedback, and well, I guess see you guys once I'm doing a gameplay video with some of my friends. So yeah, see ya.